Thanks, Tom. And briefly tell us a lot more about these programs. Could you please join me in welcoming the Minister for Regional Development, Terry Redman?
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the chance to be here, and I would like to welcome everybody that's taken the time to come out this morning. When someone else cooks your breakfast, it's always good to come along and have it, isn't it? So, but I'm sure you're going to get something also out of the rest of the day. I think if you look at where you would want to be in the world over the last number of years, Australia is probably it in terms of the impacts of the global economy. If you were to look at in Australia where you'd like to be, Western Australia is probably it in terms of how we perform as a state and as an economy compared to the other states in Australia. But there's no doubt that what's happened in recent times has an impact in terms of the economy. Structural changes in the economy affects both metropolitan and regional Western Australia. It's interesting, but to have a look at some of the high numbers, and I'll give you a couple of really interesting ones. In Perth, there are 800 ASX listed companies that call Perth home. 800. Sydney has 550 and Melbourne has 320. There are 90 AX listed companies in Perth that have got a market capitalisation of $20 million. So it's still a substantial footprint, and when you look at the skyline, you've got big companies like BHP and Woodside and Chevron making Perth home. But what's interesting to see in recent times is now that some of the colour's coming out of the resource sector, you see a few other businesses now starting to come to the surface, and you see the other part of the economy that perhaps wasn't quite so visible when the mining sector was running as hot as it was. Groups like Thermomix Australia. Now, I can see the guys out there cringing because I'm one of those that got captured by Thermomix Australia, by my wife, and got a Thermomix. They've taken on 2,000 square metres of Balcatta floor space in Perth, as they are, as an independent retailer, I think have one of the biggest marketing divisions here in Australia, in the world, I think, so doing very well. So we didn't see that before. I met with a Chinese company recently that has got a partnership with a Bunbury company that wants to do animated films to market back into China. Already their links are in the tens of millions and looking at moving towards the hundreds of millions. So we are seeing a part of the economy starting to come forward that perhaps wasn't so visible before. When I go into regional Western Australia as a regional development minister and say, righto, what do we do about small to medium-sized business in the regions? It's not an easy question to answer. Through the Royalties to Regions program, which has made such a fantastic difference to the regions, you can build stuff, you can help with services, you can help with hospitals and education, all those other things that are key services in the region, and hopefully infrastructure type things to support the amenity and things to make it a much better place to live and visit. But when I talk to the small business centre and ask you, what is the to-do list? What are the things you want us to do that support your business? That's not an easy list. I know the top ones will be drop the power prices, drop the water prices, and all these things are things that come off your P&L. Yes, I understand that, and those are sometimes challenges. But what we did a few years ago was, under Brendan Grills, when he was the Minister for Regional Development, did a review into buy local. How can we get regional businesses accessing the marketplace, both at a government procurement level and also in the resources sector or the private sector? How can we get us playing a far greater role? And that review finished up with a report, and it finished up prior to the last election with some Royalties to Regions funds supporting a number of things in terms of building capacity, information and knowledge in regional businesses to be able to access procurement into government contracts and also into the resources sector. So what we're doing now is today is the launch of the second round of a grant scheme, $480,000, industry facilitation and support program. The first round, interestingly, supported $350,000 to about 31 companies that produced 20 jobs and 6 apprenticeships. But perhaps more importantly, there were 70 contracts worth $21 million came out of that, out of the first round that was linked to those grants. Now, yes, it's not all the grants, it is the business, and the business is taking initiative and driving what they want to do, but $21 million of contracts came out of that. So today there's $480,000 of these grants, matching grants, up to $20,000, hopefully supporting innovation, skills, knowledge, pre-eligibility requirements to be able to get into and access these grants. We've got people here today from the West Australian government organisations, Regional Development, Department of Commerce, Department of Finance. We've got federal government people here looking at what government assistance can play in helping small business get access to those. Other initiatives, such as the Department of Commerce with the Small Business Development Corporations working through getting into the steel fabrication sector. There are businesses in regional Western Australia. You don't need to be in a city to make this stuff work. There are businesses in regional Western Australia that are getting the benefit of things like steel fabrication and other businesses. So they're doing some specific work around that to try and access get regional businesses access into those opportunities. So it's challenging. We are continually trying to refine what we can do as a government, and I'm making a commitment as your local member here for those local businesses, but also as a commitment as the Regional Development Minister to keep on engaging with the Chamber of Commerce's, the regional chambers in particular, and Paul will know what my commitments have been in that respect, to try to better understand what small business and medium-sized business in the region needs, what support we can offer. This is the second tranche of an initiative that was rolled out before the last election. I'm hoping that you get a lot out of today. I'm hoping what comes from today is a lot more contracts that keep people employed in regional Western Australia to make sure our businesses thrive. Please enjoy the rest of the day, and I look forward to catching you in due course. Thank you very much.